welcome back to my channel. My name is Valeria, for those that do not know me, and for those that have been watching, thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. And as you can see, I'm like one more subscriber away from hitting 100. So I mean, I know it's not that much, but I've only had this channel for like 3 months now. So thank you all, and God bless you. And well, as you can see, I have a very special guest with me, my fiance, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Vale. Well, my name's Andres Lara, and I've been with Vale for over 3 years now, and it's been an amazing journey. I love her so much, and what she's been doing with these videos, honestly, it's an honor to be part of this and be able to talk with her.
Oh, we're gonna talk to everyone actually too. Thank you, babe. So it's our first time ever recording a video, so this isn't even practiced or anything. We're just gonna be ourselves. Just come up here and pretty much we're gonna do a Q&A. So we have a few questions. We're just pretty much gonna go back and forth, and we hope that you guys get to know us more, and that you're also inspired to have God involved in your relationship, if you are in a relationship, or if you're looking forward to committing to something more serious in the future. So do you want to start off the questions?
Yeah, let's go with the first question. Okay. These are questions we made and something that we just want to share to see if it'll help you guys, anybody who's thinking of starting a relationship or that's currently in a relationship. See if it'll help you guys out. So our first question is, how did we meet? And when our first day when we met, I was 14 years old, and we met at the old Alcance Victoria, East Phoenix, and it was near Perry Park, right there near 32nd Street in Oak. And I remember somebody invited me to go over and attend the youth night, which was gang night, and that's the first time I met Valeria. And back then I was a really shy guy. I couldn't really speak to anybody. I wasn't really an extrovert, you could say. I didn't really like to socialize either. So the fact that I even went was kind of like a big step for me. And I met everybody. I met Valeria's brother, George, and then I met Valeria. And I could tell this
Valeria, chill.
Hey.
He wasn't antisocial with me though.
And when I finally met her, I could tell she was different, like the way she acts. She was kind of really bold. She was the complete opposite of what I was. And for some reason that really attracted me a lot to her. But I didn't let her know at the time because, I just wouldn't share my feelings like that. And then something that marked that day that I can never forget is when she told me that she liked the color of my shirt. I don't know why, but I was wearing like a turquoise color shirt, and she told me, "Hey, I like your shirt." And in my head, I'm like, "Dang, she's already into me," and I barely met her, But
I was just trying to make conversation. I wasn't even flirting. No, just kidding, not me. But you were cute. Yeah, he was cute, but I was too young. Like, I never had a boyfriend at that time. So yeah. Anyways, continue.
Let's go to the second question. Okay. Here, you can read it.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer this question. How long have we been together? So we pretty much, our very first date was on December 17th of 2018. And so how we said, like, we met when we were 14, but then so his mom had a hair salon, right? She worked at a hair salon, like right by the church. So after her shift, she would go and she would take Andres with her. But then Andres stopped going to church, and then we pretty much parted ways from like the age of 13 all the way till the age of 19. So I found him again. Well, we found each other pretty much at Gateway. I went to Gateway Community College, and I worked there with enrollment services, and he was in the automotive program, and he would come so I could help him enroll him for classes. So there was like 5 people, but he would always come to me. I'm just kidding.
And I would do that on purpose too. Like, I knew the other people could help me, but I was like, hey, it's that girl. I remember her. I met her. Let me go see what I could say to her. But I don't know why, even though like her personality was so like so, I guess, powerful or stronger than mine, that I would kind of just like, I would still act like I was 14 again, even though this was like 5 years later, 4 years later, and I would still find myself in the same position, just being that little quiet guy.
It was cute though, because he was shy, and I mean, that did show me that he did like have something for me. But, you know, I don't know, it was weird. I think he was in a relationship and I was in a relationship with someone else at that time. So although we had that attraction, I guess, I don't know if it was after our relationship. I don't even know, honestly. I just know it was around that time frame. And then, yeah, pretty much his mom came back when we were 21 years old. So it's just crazy. Like, if you're like wondering about who's the person for you, trust me that person will always find his way to you. Young girl, like, if you're waiting for someone, you might already know him. It's just not the right time. Like, now I see that it wasn't that right time when we were 14, nor when we were 19. It was until 21, you know, where he came back to church and he pretty much told me like, hey, let's go on a date. He's like, I want to go Christmas shopping for my mom, and all he did was buy stuff for himself. I think he was trying to show off because he spent a bunch. Like, he bought like
I was really trying to actually buy Christmas presents. The thing was, though, we started going to the stores, and I started noticing the things that were there, and they were like on clearance, so they had a discount. And I started like, you know what? I'm gonna just buy the stuff for me.
It was not on clearance. You were just wanting to buy stuff for you. Anyways, yeah, so that's pretty much how we met, and we've been together, to answer the question, we've been together for 3 years and 6 months now. So when we get married on October, it'll be almost 4 years. Okay, so third question.
So our third question is, what was your first impression? And I think I spoke about it in our first question, that I thought Valeria was kind of bold and really like she outspoken. But what I thought of her the first time was that she was like a pretty girl. Like, she really had, you know, she was a kind person too, in a way. Even though in a way,
I was kind.
Even though I didn't like know her, but I could just tell like she was a good person. Not just because like, oh, she's a church girl and, you know, she was there at church and stuff, but mostly because you could just feel that vibe, like, hey, you know, like the way that person speaks to you, they don't offend you, they respect you, and like a very funny person. And I feel like if people ask me, dang, who's the funny one in the relationship, I could say it's Vale. Or like, who's the one who's always like, who's the like the I guess the vibe of the party or whatever, like I could say that's Vale. Because most of the time, like with people, I'll still be a little quiet, but with her, I feel like I can really be open with her.
He's funny too. It's just that he's shy with people, but honestly, he be making me laugh all the time. But I kind of want to answer that question too. I know that he already mentioned like what was his first impression of me. And it's very true when they say that opposites attract. He was just very calm and had like a very peaceful spirit to him. I feel like he really balanced my character. Like, I know that I'm very extroverted, and those that know me personally know like I'm a social butterfly. Like, I am not shy at all. Like, I will literally talk to anyone. And I feel like we balance each other, you know, and, you know, even when I felt like stressed out, he's always that balance, you know, he calms my stress down. But my very first impression could just be like, he was just he was a gentleman. Like, the first date, like, he was buying me everything. I mean, honestly, he's always been like the provider and always really like spoiled me. And it's not like I care about those things, because materialistic things have never been my priority, but I could see how he really like took that role, and that's really important to me, just because that's how like my dad pretty much raised me. You know, he was always my provider, so every girl kind of wants to see those characteristics in, you know, the man they're with. So yeah, he was just, you know, opening doors for me, and he was very sweet. I think that was what really attracted me to him, was that he was just very sweet. He was nice and he was peaceful. I mean, I felt peace when I was with him, and he should be your peace. I mean, we had our times where it wasn't that peaceful. Every relationship does, but at the end of the day, it was like we were like a perfect match. We really balanced each other out.
Yeah. So our fourth question is, here, you read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, this is my question. Okay, what made us stay together all this time? So, like I said, and this is a Q&A, but we also want to involve like the Word of God, because I do have a Christian Girl channel, and I think this is also helpful. Like, if you're a female watching this, you know that you also understand like what will always balance your relationship is God. because I could, and we can be very honest, like the first 2 years of our relationship, we were in love and we were always together, but I could say that God wasn't really the center because well, for those that know us personally, you know, we both needed God more in our lives, like personally, and so did Andres. I grew up in church and he didn't, so we kind of struggled in that area. So those 2 years, although we were in love and although we, like I said, you know, we had that connection, we were missing something, you know. And I feel like God brought us to a point where we're like, you know what, we need God, not just in our relationship, but first of all, it was like personal, like where I was like, okay, I need to know God personally and you need to know God personally, so that we could be the best versions of each other and come together and be a very strong team. So I feel like what's kept us together is definitely God. Like, you know, God really helps you not be prideful, you know, ask for forgiveness, stay close to that person. It helps you treat each other with respect. Like when I compare our relationship before God, you know, it wasn't a bad relationship, you know, but God is the foundation to everything. And I feel like what's really held us together right now, it's God's presence. Like both of us doing ministry, having like one passion and like, you know, one goal in life. You guys, I mean, when you're in a relationship, you guys need to have like, it's a team. Like it's a team for real. Like that's what I feel that I've learned a lot through this relationship. So I don't know, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, something I would like to add to that is that I feel like God really allowed me to value Valeria more, give her that special love, that special attention she deserves. Not because I didn't love her as much before God, but I was able to value her and appreciate her more. Because I noticed that, you know, Valeria, honestly, I don't know how many people that watch this actually know Valeria, but the people who do know her know that she has like she's a very special person. Like she always comes, she's always so straightforward and direct, and she tells the people the truth, you know. And I feel like that's what I've always needed to listen, you know. Always, my bad, something I've always needed to hear was the truth. She won't hold back on or trying to like darte una dulce mentira or try to say something sweet or something that you would like to hear.
I sugarcoat it.
Yeah, she would always tell you what, you know, straightforward, what you need to hear. And honestly, God has really helped us out a lot in our relationship, and I feel like because of God, we're gonna have a relationship that's gonna last for a very long time, you know. It's not just gonna be something, hey, just for the hype, or I got nothing to do, I'm bored, let's go hang out. Like, no, like I can really say that because of God, I'm able to be with Valeria and have like a nice, strong, healthy relationship. So I thank God for that. And I don't know if you want to move on to the next question.
Thank you, babe. Yeah, I think that's super key right there. Like on the guy standpoint, like a guy that has God will always like see your value, you know, even more than like what they might see right now. So how has God helped us through our challenges? I don't know, do you want to do or you want?
Well, mostly because we both serve in ministry. We're both serving at Alcance Victoria. And I really feel like with me personally, because I used to be a really shy guy, so I'd be antisocial. And because, you know, God has opened doors of opportunity, he's given me that confidence, he's given me that boldness so I can speak to others. Especially, you know, I've had the privilege to preach to people like at youth nights, at the gang nights. So it's really helped me out in just trying to unwind myself and really get that character, that personality God really wants me to have. And I think that was a big challenge for me, because honestly, in the world, I was never going to be able to get that confidence for myself. No matter what I did or how much money I made, I felt like I wasn't going to be able to change that about myself. But, you know, because of God, I was able to be that person that God wants me to be. So that has been one of the biggest challenges in my life, and God has given me the strength to overcome it.
Yeah. And I think all of us have our like personal challenges, and like relationship challenges, everyone has it too, because like how I said, opposites attract, and it has its like pros and cons to it. So you and that person might be very different, which will help you guys balance each other, but at the same time you have to remember that because you guys are so different, you guys are going to crash sometimes. You know, sometimes your mentalities are not going to be the same. Like that person's not going to understand your love language. And I think with us, like I feel like that has helped us, like really understanding our love language. Like, you know, I know his, it's like more like words of affirmation and things like that. Mine's are more like acts of service. So little things like that where they mean more, things mean more to me or things mean more to him, but you have to like really, at the end of the day, like really understanding each other and communicating, like how we said, like I don't hold back, and it's important to never hold back, you know, in your relationship or friendships, whatever. Literally communication is key, because people can't read your mind. And at the end of the day, like some of us girls, when we get mad, we like to give the silent treatment, you know, and I've done it before. Like I'm guilty, like you know, and it's like they're just like, what's going on, what do I do to make her happy again? So, you know, it's really important to communicate. And I heard something very key that I just want to share. Like if you do come like across a challenge in your relationship and you guys have an argument, they say that when you argue, and if you're able to worship God after the argument, then it means that, you know, you were probably in the right. But if you leave an argument and you're not able to worship God, it's because pride is in the way, anger is in the way, bitterness is in the way. So I don't know, that really stuck to me. It's from a preacher, I forgot his name, but I was like, man, I think I'm gonna try to do that after arguments. And you know, because worship will always remove the bitterness, will always remove the pride. Like for us, we can't be mad because we're at church, you know, we have to worship God, and we're so involved in ministry, and you know, we do like a bunch of like food sales, or we're like and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to ask him for a favor because this is too heavy, but you know, my pride wants to get in the way because I'm mad or something. But God eliminates that. He says, you know what, you need to put that to the side. Like this is a work of God. So ministry has also helped us like really stay as a team, even if we don't, you guys aren't always gonna be like perfect, like running around. It's every relationship has its ups and downs, but you know, at the end of the day, you love that person and you're willing to do what it takes to make it work.
And like I feel like the love has the love that you feel for that person has a lot to do with it, because it makes you feel like you don't want to give up. Honestly, I feel like whatever trials come our way, whatever challenges come our way, I feel like there's always a solution to fix the problem, or you know, to say I'm sorry, I messed up, but never to just like, hey, everything we worked so hard for, just throw it away in one moment. It's not worth it, honestly. Especially if you know that person's the one, then you just have to be patient and work it out. You know, it's not as easy as, hey, you know, I'm just gonna meet somebody else and then build from the beginning again, because then all that time and effort you invested is just it'll get thrown away. So you know, I think that's why it's very important for us to always be patient with each other and always say sorry when you mess up, recognize when you mess up, or if you didn't do the right thing, you know, just apologize, and from there just work it out. And I'm pretty sure things will go back to normal, if not even have a more solidified relationship.
Yeah, apologizing. You gotta apologize. Girls too, not just guys. Because I know us girls, we can be like prideful and stuff, but you know, you have to say sorry too. If you mess up, you also have to apologize. So we kind of already answered some of these. Can you define like the difference between a Christian relationship and a non-Christian relationship? So I'll kind of answer. Did I already answer one?
Yeah, you answered.
Okay. No, you answered all of them. Yeah. Okay, you go.
So I guess the most obvious and the most important is, you know, you have God involved in your relationship. I feel like in a worldly relationship, you know who God is, but you don't acknowledge him. You don't, you know, you're not with him. You don't go to church. you're not reading your Bible, you're not praying. And I feel like that's very important in a Christian relationship, because you ask God, hey, Lord, give me direction. What do I need to do? You know, where do I need to be positioned? Especially when it's a relationship, I feel like both of your callings have to align, or they have to be very similar or alike, because you can't have one person over here and then the other person over here, because then, you know, it's not, you guys are a team. You guys are supposed to be together, working towards something, working towards your goal and whatever you want to accomplish. So I feel like that's the most important thing as in a Christian relationship, and above all, having you know, respect for each other, because you got to know that there's going to be boundaries, and there's things that you can't cross, there's limits you can't step over, because then you're going to offend the other person, you know. And especially something very important is your vocabulary. You got to know how to speak to the person, how to treat them. Because I see a lot on TikToks or social media that, you know, sometimes relationships, they'll be hitting each other, or they'll cuss at each other, they'll say inappropriate things, and I'm just like, man, how does that relationship work? You know, like toxic relationships. And I feel like that just hurts your self-esteem. Like, how are you supposed to help? How are you supposed to, you know, show so much love, or you say you love this person, when your words or your actions, they speak and they show the complete opposite. So I feel like it's very important for us to always, you know, especially in a Christian relationship, to always always respect the other person, give them their place, acknowledge them, let them know that, you know, they have a special place in your heart, that they're not just somebody you could just throw and spit words at.
Yeah, I feel like Christian and non-Christian are a huge difference. Especially if you're a Christian and you're dating an unbeliever, that's a huge red flag. Because I mean from a girl standpoint, it's really hard to date a guy that's not Christian, because that automatically makes a relationship without God involved, you know. And when you're dating a guy that doesn't love God, it's more than likely that that person will not have the same values and morals as you. You know, if you are a Christian girl, you're believing in abstinence. You know, what happens when that guy's like, well, why can't we do this or that? You know, if it's a natural thing, and he won't understand your standpoint of things, you know. And that's one of the things I really always made it clear from the start. He knew that I was abstinent, you know, that was something, and that's something I want to touch base in my future videos. And that person needs to respect you as a female. Like, it's so important that, you know, that person respects you, and he knows like where you stand when it comes to those things. And, you know, also, like, you know, a lot of people do casual drinking, or nowadays marijuana is recreational, but those things come against your values and your standpoint in God, you know. So for me, like, I've been, you know, and we've experienced a relationship without God, and at the end of the day, it didn't bring fulfillment or happiness. But I could say right now that God's like the priority. It's the happiest we've ever been. You know, we've been like I've never been so confident in something, you know. And I feel like when you're in a relationship where God's in it, you're gonna have peace in your heart, and you're gonna feel like you're in God's will, you know. Because I mean, if you know God's presence, you know when you're not in God's will. So I feel like that's the best thing about a Christian relationship, having that peace and reassurance that like God's with you. So we're just gonna go ahead and almost end the video, because I don't want to make this video super long. So the very last thing, if you could give advice to those initiating a Christian relationship, what would you say? So I'll let you answer that, and then I'll also share.
Well, I would just tell them to be patient. You know, God's timing is always perfect. And I feel like as young people, we always want things to move fast. We always want things to accelerate. We always want things now. But with God, we have to be patient, and we got to be very careful of our actions, making sure we stay in line with God's will. Because in a world where, you know, where it feels like there's more people that are, you know, especially with the young people that are more non-Christians or non-believers, it's easy to just fall into temptation. It's easy to just, you know, follow your friends, especially if they're not, you know, they're not going to church, you know. I'm not saying they're bad people. It's just, you know, you have certain values and morals that they don't understand, or they're not going to like they don't do if they've never practiced. So something that I would, you know, tell a relationship that just started, especially a Christian relationship, is just to always be in the Lord's will, always be together, but serving the Lord. Because you know, when you're so close to the Lord and you're so attached to Him, you get a heavy conviction placed upon your life that you know the difference between right and wrong. So just always being careful where you step, where you go. You know, don't be going out, you know, late at night, because you know, at late at night is when bad things happen, or you know, when people are, you know, under the influence driving. So I would just recommend just always just always serve the Lord, and always have like a set time, like a curfew, just to not be out late too much time.
Yeah, I think that has helped us a lot. And just to add to that, I think what has helped us is really involving wise people to be a guidance for us. Like, I know, like, we have our pastors, and I feel like that has really guided us. Like, you know, I know there's things that are personal in a relationship, and you guys should definitely have your privacy, but I go for guidance. You know, I like to talk to women of God, and he has his spiritual mentor as well, where we're just like, okay, you know, even before we were gonna get married, like, we spoke about it, and we are always open for advice. And like, even in our ministry and our calling with God, we're always considering those people that God speaks through. And you know, it's really important to have accountability in your relationship. I know sometimes we feel like we're adults and we don't need to pretty much be accountable to anybody or tell anybody, you know, even if you trust me, you're gonna have struggles, and we're young and nobody is born learning how to have a perfect relationship or how to be married. That's why you have people, it could be your parents, you know, or some of you that have youth pastors or whatever, you know, those people are there and they've already been through that, you know. And for me, I feel like that's been a huge blessing to me, like knowing that he has someone he goes to and I have someone, and then both of us together have, like, you know, we can go to IHOP literally or whatever, and we'll sit down and we're like, okay, these are our plans, you know, when we get married, after we get married, these are the plans, you know, because once you get married, it doesn't stop. Like, you come together and you serve together, and you guys are initiating a family. So, you know, I think those are just key things that you need to focus on. But those were all the questions for today. You know, I really thank you guys for watching, and I pray that this was not just like a cause of entertainment, but that you would really establish it in your relationship. And I can guarantee you that if you involve God, you know, it's not an easy road, but it's always a better road when God's in, you know, leading the way, you know, with you and your spouse or your fiance or whatever. So it's been awesome. Me and Andres, hopefully we can do more videos. It was really fun. Yeah. I've been wanting to get him, you know, on the camera and like us do a video together. But you know, if you guys did like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in watching more of these Christian girl videos, and I'll be doing more relationship videos and stuff like that, so just go ahead and subscribe, and you're going to be getting notifications of my next video. So thank you so much. God bless you, and I will see you next time.